managed 2 Chainz for 10 years. And I was a good manager. I run a $15 million a year business. I left to pursue my dream. You know, follow your heart sounds super cheesy. Oh my God, that sounds cheesy. But it says something. Like, what does it say? What makes your heart sing? You know, and sometimes we gotta go back to that 8-year-old self. I grew up Atlanta, Georgia. Mom sold vacuum cleaners. Dad just worked on houses. I always had just this one dream to be fit. I was the chubby kid. Loved basketball. I read every Michael Jordan book, just studied the moves, but I was always that big kid. So when I'd go to the playground and play Shirts vs. Skins, I'd have to drop out. And kind of as life went on, I needed something that kind of identified me. You need something to be good at. For me, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do business. You know, that's gonna be my thing. So in high school, man, I had my suit. Like, I was like CEO Charlie. Like, everybody knew I was gonna be like that business guy. So as life went on, business just, I got pretty good at it. Started a music business, won Grammys, and world tours, and sold over 8 million albums. I mean, for some people, it would look like the American dream. For me, I was never as unhappy. I was over 300 pounds, and I was super depressed. The bigger my business got, you know, the bigger my stomach got.
Look how bad I look. That's horrible. That's horrible. My name's Charlie Jabley, and I've been overweight my whole life. My addiction to food just beats me down. I binge eat till I get sick, and I do that so I'll never want to binge eat again, but it's just a downward spiral. I don't want to be in a depression anymore.
Food just took over my life, and I just buried my one dream. And this man walked into my life, a man by the name of Scott Cameron, and he changed my life. And he said, look, I'm not gonna leave you. I see something in you, and we're gonna do this. Like, we're gonna lose this weight, we're gonna run. I said, run? What do you mean run? I'm like, I'm big, like I can't run. He was like, I challenge you to a marathon. And then like in that moment, I kind of went back to like my childhood dream. Like, man, I want to be an athlete. Like, that's the one thing I've never been able to do. Been able to do this successful business, make millions of dollars, live in big houses, drive nice cars. But the one thing was this athlete dream of mine. So I said, Scott, man, let's do it. I remember the very first day. It was 19 degrees in February. It took me longer to get dressed than the actual amount of time we ran, because I could only run like 2 minutes.
It's the last time you're ever gonna see this.
I gained almost 50 pounds after running 3 marathons. Like, I was carrying so much weight when I ran that LA marathon, all my toenails fell off because of the pounding for 26 miles. I was working out in the morning and I would crack. I'd crack every single day. I would out-eat all the running I did. And after I ran a marathon, I gained weight. And there would be nights that I would like eat so much that I would wake up the next day after eating like 10,000, 15,000 calories, and my skin would be bruised. All over my body, it would hurt to touch my skin. Like, I was never addressing my real problem. Scott, he walked into my office one day, he pulled out a scale. He told me, get on the scale. I said, I'm not getting on the scale. He said, get on the scale. I said, man, Scott, I know what that scale says. I deal with it every day. I'm the guy who can't fit any of the clothes in my dresser. I'm the guy who not a belt fits. I'm the guy who, when I look in the mirror, I don't even look. I don't look. Like, I'm terrified. I'm terrified of every meal. Like, I envy people who are addicted to like drugs, because you can cold turkey that and never have to deal with the drug again. With food, that being an addiction, you've got to deal with it every day, 3-4 times a day. And man, I thought I was at the lowest point in my life. But the amazing thing about rock bottom, that'll make you actually see the roots. I woke up one morning and I looked up to the ceiling and the room just started spinning. I'm like, oh man, this isn't good. Got out of bed, went to pick up my shoes and my socks, and then passed out. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Brain tumors wrapped around my left optic nerve, my coronary artery, and say it can start corroding the top of my spinal cord. At that point, I'm like, man, my dreams of being an athlete are so far out of the picture. It's like, I just want to live. But then I was like, man, I gotta fix my roots. Like, everything I've been doing to this date has been wrong. I have to say yes to the scariest thing I ever did. I'm gonna completely reinvent my entire life. I'm gonna leave Atlanta. I'm gonna leave my company. I'm gonna leave my family. I'm gonna leave everything I built. I knew I could never truly be successful unless I had my health. The first chapter of my life was music industry. The second chapter of my life is gonna be transformation. If you jump into the swimming pool and you don't know how to swim, you got two options. Learn really, really, really fast, or you're gonna die. And for me, dying is not an option. I moved to California, completely became the exact opposite of everything I was. I was this workaholic who was working 100-hour work weeks. Now I'm this free-spirited, vegan, endurance athlete, lost 120 pounds, training for an Ironman in March. And the most important thing, I'm reversing my brain tumor. I'm reversing it naturally. I've learned every single thing there is to learn about food. I transform every morning when I work out into this person who's like, to me, my superhero. His name is Charlie Rocket. Like, I put my bandana with the little rockets on, I put my glasses on, I have my bright colors. I see everybody else who just bikes or who runs and they all look the same. And I said, I want to be this glowing ball of energy. And when I'm biking down the boardwalk, I'm smiling, I'm listening to my music, and I'm high-fiving people. So if somebody who is going to the beach early that's in this depressed mood, like, they can look and be like, wow, like, that guy looks like he's having fun. Maybe I should try that. This energy is contagious. And I don't care if it's you're fit and you need to figure out how to get your dreams of success, or if you're older and you're stuck as a lawyer in a law firm and your heart is saying, I need to go chase my dreams before I die. There's somebody, I don't care if it's one person, they needed to hear it. So that's just my way of reaching my hand back. On January 1st, I wrote on a postcard and I put it on my refrigerator and I said, contract to myself, become top 1% of athletes in the world. Well, I'm on pace to do an Ironman. I've already done a half Ironman. I've run 3 marathons. I've lost 120 pounds. I'm reversing my brain tumor. I'm chasing my dream.